Good morning and welcome to my home. If you are new around here, my name is Kyra and I am a mother of 3 little boys under the age of 5. And this is a little glimpse into my morning as a homemaker and a mother. Now, I'm not your mother that wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get things done before her children wake up. Sometimes I think I could be that mother, but then reality hits and I realize that I like sleep and I have a baby that is 9 months old and still wakes up to nurse in the middle of the night. So today I'm not that person, and that's okay. And I want to show you that it's possible to care for your home and care for your children without having to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do so. So once I get myself up for the day and have my children up for the day, usually our day starts around 8 o'clock. And at that time, I like to wake up our house. And what I mean by that is let in the bright light and let our day feel like it has actually started. So we open up the curtains, we do a light little tidy if anything didn't get put back in its place last night so that things feel organized, and I get started on the laundry. The laundry is one of the non-negotiables in this rhythm of my day. The rhythm kind of ebbs and flows, things change throughout the day. I don't always do everything in the exact same order, but waking up the house, opening the curtains, and getting laundry started are some of the non-negotiables that always happen. Even if we're running out the door for that day, it helps us feel like our day is starting, and the laundry will really add up if we haven't started it first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, I get 1 load of laundry, throw it down the laundry chute, put it in the washer, and get it going. That way, come afternoon, whenever I have children napping and it's a little less crazy in the house, I'm able to fold 1 load from yesterday and continue to stay on top of it. Now, in my house, we have a lot of laundry. In addition to all of our clothes that we have from 3 children and my husband and myself that like to make a mess, I also have cloth diapers, which I am washing every few days. So there is never a shortage of laundry in this house to be washed and folded. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure how honest I wanted to be with this video today because I am a tidy person. I like to keep my house clean and organized despite having 3 children that are little. But the reality is that doesn't always happen because I'm also a mother and I get tired, and my husband works very hard all day long and comes home and also does night classes, so he gets tired too, and none of us want to stay up until 2 a.m. cleaning our house every single night. Now, we do shut down our house, we get everything in order, probably 5 out of 7 nights a week, but this was not one of those nights. This was one of the days that we woke up to mess on the floor left over from dinner last night, a table that still needed cleaned, and a kitchen that was in a state that I was not proud of. One thing that keeps my heart at ease is a kitchen that is nice and clean. Waking up to that is the best feeling ever. So this video is also one of those do as I say, not as I do type of situations. If you're looking for something that can help bring more peace to your mornings, cleaning your kitchen the evening before is definitely one of those things. But like I said, this is reality and we were too tired. That's just what happened last night. And that's perfectly fine. My husband and I used to be in this position where when our youngest was a baby, we would stay up very late and make sure that the house was clean. But it just caused stress. It caused us to feel overwhelmed on nights that we were honestly too tired to do it. We were too tired to get anything done. Most of the nights we will prioritize getting things cleaned up and put away, but just because we don't prioritize it every single night doesn't mean that the world is going to stop. It will still be there the next morning. In a perfect world, with the exception of our late night snacks still sitting out, this is what the kitchen would look like in the morning. And instead, it looks like this. Now, it wasn't as bad as it has been some days, but there were definitely things that still needed put away and things that still needed cleaned up so that we could even have the space to make breakfast for the morning. Now, in order to stay on top of things throughout the day, when we wake up and the kitchen is clean, I will typically unload the dishwasher while I'm making breakfast and letting things cook, because unloading the dishwasher in the morning first thing means that during breakfast and lunchtime, I can throw any dirty dishes into the dishwasher and makes our nighttime cleanup so much easier. I've learned over the years as a mother to expect the unexpected, and the unexpected is that my third child is not a fan of bottles, which means that I often have bottle parts and pumping parts that I am putting away in the morning because despite being introduced as a young baby, he has decided as a 9-month-old that he doesn't like a bottle or any other substitute to a bottle, which makes date nights really fun around here. But we're trying our best. We just do a lot of bottle cleanup. And on days like today, when I know I need an extra boost of energy, I tend to turn towards something like matcha because I'm not a big coffee drinker anymore, and I need something that makes me feel a little warmth inside so that the snow doesn't just drag me down. It is spring, but it most definitely does not feel like it around here. When I got the raw milk out for my matcha this morning, I realized that my children must not have been very hungry when they woke up because I was too distracted by the dirty house to realize that I did not get them their milk first thing in the morning. And my children love starting their day with raw milk. They will usually ask for milk the second that they wake up, and that will get their bellies a little more full, and then they're typically not asking for breakfast the whole time because they're not hungry for it yet. So I got them their milk for the day, and like every day, I had 2 children fighting over whose day it was to pick which cup they wanted for the day. Obviously, they all want the same cup, or the 4-year-old who is a little more intelligent in that area will ask the 2-year-old which cup he wants and choose his. But such is life of motherhood. So I got them their cups for the day and their milk, and then realized that I can no longer procrastinate cleaning up the kitchen because our kitchen is not massive, which means that we will not have space to make breakfast if our kitchen isn't cleaned up. I often ask my 4-year-old to help with dishes, and it seems like the older they get, the less willing they are to help. My 2-year-old always wants to help lift glass plates and bowls out of the dishwasher and help me break them, but my 4-year-old picks and chooses his days that he wants to be of assistance to me. However, when it comes to other things in my home, my children are always wanting to lend a helping hand, and my middle one is definitely the one who is always attached at my hip as he wears my dish gloves. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only person that I know that wears gloves to do the dishes, but I know that it can't possibly just be me or the stores wouldn't still be selling them. So if you're one of those people that wears gloves to do the dishes, please let me know. My husband sometimes looks at me like I'm crazy, but I just cannot stand the feeling of dirty food and plates and water running across my bare hands. It just makes me cringe. It gives me the tingles just thinking about it. I feel like the best way to keep a tidy kitchen is to always start your day with a clean slate. So if I didn't get around to making it a nice clean slate the night before, then this is why I will prioritize doing it first thing in the morning, because I don't want to accumulate mess on top of yesterday's mess and then just overwhelm myself with things that need done. So once the dishes are all put into the dishwasher, I will wipe down the counters, make sure that they are ready to start breakfast, and wipe off and clean any cast iron that needs cleaned so that it can dry to be put away later in the day. It's usually about this point that I remember that I have made myself matcha that I have not taken a single sip of since I made it 30 minutes ago. But that is motherhood. Motherhood is making yourself a hot drink and drinking it once it's cold. It's everyone's favorite thing to do. We lie to ourselves and pretend that it tastes better that way anyway. But once the cast iron is cleaned up, I start breakfast, and there is no shortage of little hands to help when it comes to making food in this house. My children are always willing to help, especially when it comes to homemade pancakes. Now, part of homemaking in my mind is taking care of those that are in the home, and that means making breakfast for all of the little hungry mouths in this family. And one of them is teething, and that little one does not like to just crawl around today like he does on most days, which means that I have a little added weight to my back while we make our pancakes this morning. Recently, we have been eating a little bit of sourdough everything, and not just your regular sourdough, but gluten-free sourdough. I have worked hard on creating recipes for making delicious gluten-free sourdough foods because they're not nearly as accessible as regular sourdough recipes are. But pancakes at the moment are not one of those things that I focus on a recipe for. To be honest, I just know the ingredients that go into pancakes and I throw them all together and eyeball it. It's probably not my best advice when it comes to making breakfast, but when you're a busy mother and you have 3 little children that want fed, you are not trying to pull out a recipe book and read over it to make pancakes. You are just whipping it all together and getting it going. Now, my little ones usually are very involved in making breakfast. A lot of days they are measuring it out alongside me. This is how they are learning so many life skills, is by counting and measuring and weighing and so on and so forth. Today, since I knew we were running late on getting breakfast started, I took the lead on making a lot of the food and was just trying to let my children help with some of the smaller tasks like putting things away. That is one of the key parts in my mind of keeping a tidy home, is putting things away. Everything in my house has a home, has a place that it belongs. And if it does not have a home or a place that it belongs, then we don't have it in our house. And it's as simple as that. And when you're cooking breakfast, or any meal for that matter, cleaning up immediately after using the items makes life so much easier. That means that when you are done with a meal, you're not overwhelmed with all of the things that are still left out because they have been put away. Like my cast iron. When I clean them, I sit them to dry. Once they've heated up, cooled off, been oiled, and are dry, I hang them up so that they are not just sitting there waiting for something to be done later in the day. Now, when I'm doing breakfast, I oftentimes am making a mental list of what needs accomplished throughout my day. I am a list maker through and through. I will make a list about everything. I do not go shopping without a list. I do not do chores without a list. Everything has a list. And right off of my kitchen, I keep a board that I can write down anything that I think of in my head and have put on this list that needs done. Then I organize that list into things that I want done this week, this spring, this summer, and so on. And anything that needs done this week, I will then go over to after breakfast time and decide what I am interested in doing that day. Now, I used to organize my homemaking tasks by days of the week, and so on Monday I would clean the floors, and on Tuesday I would clean the windows. However, I've come to realize that it's not how life works out. Some days I have more energy than other days, and some days I'm just more interested in doing certain tasks than other days. So I tend to put it all on the list, look at what I want done, make it a goal to do 2 or 3 of the things off of the list for the day, so that way by the end of the week everything will be accomplished. The tasks that I chose to complete today were actually kind of fun. The first one was going to be taking 9-month pictures of my sweetest little baby. Unfortunately, my poor 3rd child often gets 3rd child syndrome, which means that his monthly photos end up being taken in the middle of the month. Once I maneuvered my way through whatever my children were doing with this tent in the hallway, I was able to get onto the next homemaking item, and that was going to be finally putting the duvet cover back on the duvet. I don't know how you are supposed to do this or the best way to do it, but the way that I do it is probably not correct. I end up putting it out, trying to figure out where all of the ties go, oftentimes wonder why there aren't enough ties for all of what's inside of the blanket, and then just doing the best that I can. Of course, because I had my children around, as I always do, trying to put this cover on turned into a fun game of let's try to skip around it, hop over it, and pretend like the floor is lava, which isn't always the most enjoyable thing when you're trying to keep a blanket from getting all tangled up in itself. But this is life, this is motherhood, and we were embracing it. This obviously did not fall under one of those every week things like cleaning the floors. Probably should take this cover off and wash it every week, but let's be honest, it takes so long to put it back on that washing it every single week is not on the top of my priority list. I'm lucky if I can get my floors washed every week, let alone my duvet cover. So I got it all put back together and was headed on to the next thing on the list, which was going to be cloth diapers. Now that is an ongoing thing that sometimes gets done 2 or 3 times a week, not just a once a week sort of situation. This is my 3rd child that I have cloth diapered in the past 5 years, and I have jokingly told my husband that as soon as we started having children and cloth diapering them, I was not going to stop diapering them because the odds of me trying to pick it back up and get back into the routine were very slim. So I have been doing this multiple times a week for 5 years now. As soon as the laundry is done, I bring it upstairs, sort everything out, and put the diapers away so that they are ready to use again. I have tried many different styles of cloth diapers and found which ones are the simplest when it comes to using and washing and folding, and I have a video all about that on my channel, the easiest way the cloth diaper that is not intimidating whatsoever. So be sure to check out that video if you are interested in cloth diapering your children. But I get all of the cloth diapering laundry put away, occasionally the clothes that get mixed in with it or the clothes that got poo on them that also had to get cleaned with cloth diaper laundry. And the last thing on my list for the morning that I was going to accomplish was putting a new sheet on the crib mattress. And I've crossed 3 things off of my homemaking to-do list for the day. As you have seen throughout the morning, my children are always close by, and they are always my number 1 priority. So the homemaking can always come second to caring for and loving on my children. There will always be dishes that need done, floors that need swept, laundry that needs put away, but my children are growing, and they are growing so quickly, so I will take every opportunity to stop and love and embrace them.
I don't like your plate.
You don't need to lick my plate.